Hello everyone, my name is FabianEbong. I am here today to do a correction to the test that I gave to the students. And thank you very much for doing your utmost best to participate in that test and to measure your assessment and the speed into the course so far. I thank you for your great participation. So I just want to do this quick recording to show you what I expected on the test. So let me go ahead and share my screen so that you can see the test questions. Okay, share that. Good. So this is what I sent to you as the test. Take a look at it. So this is what we would be doing today. All right. Awesome. Note that these are supposed to be the credentials that you're going to use to log in, right? Nobody has problem with logging into AWS console so far. And I know that most of you are very comfortable with creating users and putting them in group and giving them policies. So I'm just going to go to the part of enabling virtual MFA, then we'll continue from there. So this is a user that I created, FabianEbong. We can go down here, right here, all right. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, it says here that MFA is not enabled, right? So what I'm going to do is come here and click on this user. Then I'm going to go to security. Let's first of all look at the permissions that this user has. And it says I'm attaching from group because that's best practice, right? To attach policies to a group, not directly to a user. So let's see what this user can do. It says the user has IAM full access, it has EC2 full access, and it has VPC full access. I believe based on the principle of least privilege, these are the only policies that I need to do my assignments because I'm dealing with IAM, I'm dealing with VPC, as well as I'm dealing with EC2 today. So I don't need more than these to do my assignment, okay? So the next thing is to give, and this is the group that I belong to, is the Ebong group. All right, and these are the policies attached to that group. So now I'm going to enable MFA on the user FabianEbong. As you can see here, this is the user. So what I do is that I come here and say assign MFA device, and I click on manage. I'm going to select the virtual MFA device, and I say continue. So it's asking me to scan a code. But remember that I've already installed Google Authenticator on my phone here, which I'm about to log into. So let's search for Google Authenticator. Okay, very good. So let's enable that. And we need to we need to click here on where it says scan QR code. Then I'm just going to scan that. Okay, after scanning it, it's giving me some numbers to enter here. So the first number is 746169. I am going to wait for the number to change. Then I will enter the second MFA code here. It has just changed, so it's 944213. All right. Then I say assign MFA. Okay, it says you have been successfully assigned MFA. So I need this at the next login I need to use MFA at the next login, right? So if I come here and say close. So let's go back to users here. Remember at first it was saying that FabianEbong MFA not enabled. look at it now, it has changed to enabled, right? So that is what we're expected to do here on IAM. So on this part of IAM, I logged in, I created a user with my first and last name. I added it to this group, which is my last name. Then I added policies to it, which are, if we go here to this group, these are the policies assigned to this group. Okay, these are the policies assigned to it, which are all what was needed for me to do my assignments. So let's go ahead and create a role to allow EC to talk to S3. And I see people come and create roles here and they don't identify the roles with their name. So how am I going to know that it's you who created it? But some people did, right? Congratulations to people that pay attention to instruction. So I'm going to create a role to allow EC to call other AWS services on my behalf. So I'm going to say next. And here, this is where I select the policies. So I wanted to call S3 on my behalf. So I'm going to come here and select S3 full access, then next. I'm going to just keep this, it's optional. So I'm going to give it a role name, what? FabianEbong, so that anybody looking at this role can know that I'm the one that created it. Then S3 full access. No, S3 to EC2. Let's do that. EC2. Then I'll just add a row here. All right. Then it describes here that allows a EC2 instance to call AWS S3 on your behalf. So that's what I want. Now, this is the policy attached to it. So I'm going to create this row. And if I come here and I search by my name, FabianEbong, I see the row sitting right here. All right. This is the row that I just created. All right, so I'm done with the part of IAM. I've created a user. I've assigned this user to a group called Ebong. The user is FabianEbong. I've attached the right policies, which is IAM full access, VPC full access, and EC2 full access to the group Ebong, not directly to the user, because that's the best practice. Then I've created a role to allow EC2 call S3 on my behalf, which I'm going to attach to my EC2 instance later. So I'm done with the IAM part of it, right? I also enabled the MFA. Good. So far, so good. Now let's go do the VPC part of it. If you look at the assignments again, so this is what I was saying. We created a user, added the user to a group using our first name and last name. Number 3, we ensure that the user is prompted to change password lock, which I did that before. Turning on the video, I forgot to turn on the video. Then make sure that this user is using MFA, we've done that. Assign policy, considering best practices. Number 5, we've done that. 6, we have created a row, right? So we are now on number 7 to create a VPC with our first name and last name. So let's go do that. And in here, how do I move this from here? Okay. So this is the VPC console, and we're here. I'm going to be switching regions to where? To Paris, so that it's clean. There are no students working in Paris region. All right. So I'm also gonna switch for my EC2 side. I'm also going to switch to Paris. So this is where we are in the Paris region, right? We want to create a VPC. So we come here and we select your VPC and create. So we're going to create with our first name and last name always, right? Ebong Fabian VPC, so that they can identify us. And we want this VPC. I'm using the subnet, visual subnet calculator to do my VPC, so I can be in compliance with the standard of the specifications in the assignment. So what I'm going to do is paste this there and do /16, right? I want to create a VPC with a CIDR 17.18.0.0/16, right? I don't. I want to use IPv4. Then I want to go with tenancy. So I create that. Okay, it says it's successfully created. I close out of that. What is the next thing after creating the VPC? Number 8, they want me to create 4 subnets. That's 2 public subnets, 2 private subnets, right? Everything should have my first and last name. So I'm just gonna copy, no, I'm not gonna copy it, but let's do number 8, 4 subnets, 2 public, 2 private. And they say the public should have what? Approximately 14 hosts. Let's bear that in mind, right? That's why we are using the subnet calculator. I'm so excited and passionate about this assignment. So let's go do number 9 with 14 hosts. How are we going to do that? Subnet number 1. Create a subnet. Let's call it a FabianEbong. What is it supposed to be? It's supposed to, number 9 is supposed to be a public subnet with 14 hosts, right? So we come here and we say public subnet, right? 1, because we need 2. So I'm just going to copy, no, I will not copy that for now. Put it in here in this VPC, select the availability zone. Again, remembering redundancy and fault tolerance. So I need to give this subnet a subnet CIDR, right? I come here and I want 14 hosts. I already pre-divided all this. I come to 14 here, where I see 14 hosts, and I simply copy that. Copy, then I put in here and paste, right? So, and create. So we are done with number 9. We are done with number 9. Let's go do number 10. Again, another public subnet, but this time number 2 with approximately 4094 hosts. Public, right? So let's create another one here called what? FabianEbong public subnet 2, right? We are putting it in the FabianEbong VPC. Let's select a different availability zone now, which is EU West 3B, and we want the host with 4094, right? Host. So let's come here, look for 4094. We got this first one. So we copy that, come here, paste it here, right? Doesn't argue, we create. Okay, we're done with number 10. Let's go to number 11, 14 hosts with, and it's private with what? 1022. So we create another one. FabianEbong private subnet 1, right? We put it in this VPC, we select availability zone. So we want how many hosts here? 1022 hosts. This is where we find 1022. Copy that and paste here. Okay, we create, close. The next and the last one is to create, we are doing number 12 now with 62 hosts, right? So we come back here, create another one, FabianEbong private subnet 2, and we are putting in this VPC, select a different availability zone, and we want how many? 62 hosts. So we come here, look for where it says 62, and we just copy 62 host here. We put in here, right? Okay, doesn't complain. We are done with number 12. Okay, let's go to number 13. Attach the public subnets to public route table. Interesting. So route table, we come here again, we see, let's step back. So we need to identify this as the main public, right? So I will say FabianEbong. Some people forgot to identify this, right? Main route table, so that I know. Remember to check this sign. If you don't, they will not show up. So I create that. I say FabianEbong public route table, and I drop it where? In this VPC FabianEbong, and I create. While I'm here, I'm also just going to create a private route table. FabianEbong private route table. So I put it in the same VPC FabianEbong, and I create. So, and I see that I have 3 route tables here. So let me go ahead and do the public subnet association, the private subnet association. So I come here, I select FabianEbong private route table, come here, subnet association, edit subnet association. Some people forgot to do that, to edit their subnet association. I just want to move this so that I can make sure that I'm selecting the private, right? Because it's the private route table that I'm working with right now. So I'm going to select this because it says private, and here private, right? Then the bottom 2 are public. So I've associated it. You see that it's no longer associated to the main route table here. So I'm going to go and do the same for the public route table. Edit that, and they are still associated to the main, right? So I'm gonna remove them from main and put to the public, okay? So that is done. You can now see that the main route table, which is here, it says yes under main, is no longer having any subnets. Beautiful. So let's go do what? Where are we now? So we have attached the private to private and public to public. We've identified the main route table with our first name and last name, number 16. Make sure that the only resources in the public subnet can access the internet, all right? We need the internet gateway to be able to access the internet. So let's go create an internet gateway here. Call it what? FabianEbong internet gateway. So we create that, and when you create an internet gateway, you need to attach it. That's why it says here detach. You go here to action, you attach it to a VPC. So we are selecting this VPC and we say attach, right? Now it is attached, but it doesn't mean that it can give the public subnets access to the internet. So we need to go back to our route table and edit the route for the public subnet. Okay, route edit. So we need to say, okay, you can go to the internet /0, and you can use what? The internet gateway as your target, right? So this is it right here. Then we save the route. If you don't do this, you're gonna have timeout and all sort of troubleshooting to do when you launch your instance. So to further check that, if I come back here to this public route, okay, I misspelled this, so I'm going to correct it now. Should be public, right? Okay, so if I come here to route, I see that it's connected to these 2 subnets here, okay, which are, let's check, which are public, right? And their route is to go to the internet. So we are all good there. Let's go to the long-awaited part now, which is the security groups and NACLs. So what I'm going to do here, let's start with the NACLs, right? When you create a subnet, a VPC, 3 things are created: the main route table, the main NACL, and the main security group. So let's first of all identify this, and we say FabianEbong main NACL. Okay. Okay, then we select that. Note that all your subnets are associated to this knuckle, you need to remove the subnet from here because we are not dealing with any default, right? Some people forgot. They went and created their own knuckle, but they forgot to remove the subnets from here. Also notice that in this inbound, in the inbound of this default knuckle, is align all traffic, but we don't want this row, right? We don't want this row to be associated with any of our knuckles, right? The outbound, we don't really care much about that. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is that I will create my own knuckle and call it what? FabianEbong knuckle, right? You want to call it custom knuckle, that is fine. So I'm going to put it in this VPC and I create. After I create, the next thing that I want to do is pick all my subnets from this default knuckle and put it in my own custom knuckle, right? So I'm going to select this, my knuckle, and say subnet association. So I select, I say edit subnet. So I select everything, right? And I put there. So you're gonna see now that all my subnets have moved from where? From this main knuckle. You see there are no longer any subnets associated with it and have been moved to where? To my custom knuckle right here, okay? So now I'm going to go and configure the inbound. See, by default, the knuckle that you create is gonna deny all traffic, okay, in the inbound. So you need to go and edit your own rows. So I'm going to add some few rows here, say row 100, 200, 300, for example, maybe 400, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going here to say I want to, for example, allow all TCP, right? I'm going to allow all TCP from where? From, I can put the ephemeral port here. I know you guys don't know anything about ephemeral port, but I think it's 1024 to what? Ephemeral port. Give me a second. Ephemeral port. Anyway, let's continue. I wanted to show you something. So I'm gonna allow all TCP. Let's start with all SSH. SSH, where are you? Yeah, because I'm not gonna allow it from everywhere, right? So let me move this down here and look for IP chicken here, just to see my public IP address. So I'm going to copy this, okay, and put here. That will be the source of my SSH. Paste that, and remember to do /32 to show that it's coming from this public IP. Then what else do I want to do? I want to allow, for example, HTTP, right, from everywhere. I also want to make sure that I can ping. So I'm just going to say all ICMP4, and I will do, can do custom TCP. Then we put the port here. This is the ephemeral port that I was talking about, right? Okay, so I think these are all what I need for now for my inbound configuration in the knuckle. So I save. All right, I'm not gonna really bother about, anyway, this is denying all traffic, right? So if you are denying all traffic, you're not gonna get any success with this architecture. So I'm going to add a row here in the outbound, and I will say, I can either define all the things I've defined in the inbound here, or I can just say allow all traffic in the outbound. And I will point that to you in the exam. where I said something about that. So see, no confusion here. What does the exam say so far? In any region you are working, do not use VPC CIDR that has been already used. So we are good with that. 18, identify your default NACL and security group. We just identify our default NACL. Do not use this row where? In the inbound, okay? So let's go check. This is our inbound here. We have not used that row, right? We have not used this row to allow all traffic in our inbound, okay? So we are good with that. In the outbound, they do not put any restriction, so we can use it. Otherwise, I can just define all what I've defined here in the outbound, right? That should be fine. Remember, NACLs are stateless, okay? So that is it with NACL configurations here. This is what is called ephemeral ports, okay? So I'm going to go to security group now. I didn't do port 336 or any other ports because I didn't, in this assignment, they didn't give me tell me anything about access to databases, right? So let's identify our security groups here. So FabianEbong security group, right? So I paste it there. But this is the default. So let me say default SG default, so that we know exactly what that security group is. And you can see it's inbound and outbound rows here, but I'm going to create my own. Call it what? FabianEbong security FabianEbong. Let me just say web security group, right? Then allow access to web servers. Yeah. Then I put it in this security group, FabianEbong, and I create. Now I need to go create my inbound and outbound, right? So I come here and I edit the in. Oh, let me first of all make sure that I'm selecting the right security group. See, I almost made a mistake, right? I'm selecting, this is default. I don't want to be configuring anything there. And a lot of people made this mistake. So let's go and select the right one. And notice that though I gave it a name here, it doesn't appear here, right? The group name is here, but it didn't appear here. So when I was correcting the assignment, I had difficult time identifying whose security group was it, though I could see here, but I wanted you to pay extra attention. So you come here and put your name there, web security group, right? That's what we want. So I can identify it. So you select the right security group. A lot of people erroneously configured by the default security group as well as in NACL too. So after selecting the right one, we're going to do the same, right? We say here we are looking for all TCP. Then here we are looking for SSH, right? Then, for example, here we are looking for SCMP, and here we are looking for HTTP, right? So these are all the things that we need for now. Yeah, we don't need access to, oh, hold on. What is this saying? We needed to save something. So let's see, TCP or ICMP, then SSH and HTTPS. Where are you? HTTP. Okay, let's just leave this. All right, but where do we want to allow the traffic from? So here we're saying that can allow it from anywhere. SSH from my IP and HTTP from anywhere. This one doesn't really matter. So you save that, right? You close. So we're done configuring our, let's see where we are now. We've identified the NACLs and security group. We have not used this role anywhere. Let's go to number 20, create an instance and run these commands on it and see whether we'll complete this assignment on time. So now we're going to EC2, right? We want to launch an instance. So this is the EC2 dashboard, right? You go to instances and you launch an instance. So they wanted us to use what? On number 20, they want us to use a T2 micro instance, and they say public must have public instances must have public DNS, right? So, and public IP address. So let's start with the first public instance here. Remember, we need to select the T2 micro. So that is already selected there. Next. So let's do, it's a public instance, right? So this is our VPC. So we are launching it where? Public, right here. So let's use this public. And let's auto assign public IP, right? Okay, now I need to attach my row here. So this is the row that we created. We need to pick the right one. I think somebody selected somebody else's row here at one point in the assignment when I was correcting, so that's fine. So we say next. We are okay with the storage. This is just a correction, it's not a lecture, right? So I understand that you already had the lecture and you are following what I am doing. So we're going to say FabianEbong web, let's say public web instance. All right, so let me just copy that. I say next. So here I'm going to select the right security groups, right? I'm not gonna select default, but my custom security group, which has all the roles that I need in it. Say review, okay, launch. So I know most of you already created a key and you know how to convert it from either .pem to .ppk if you are using Windows, or Mac users, you keep it .pem, right? So we're not gonna go over the key because I already made a video on that. So I'm going to say choose existing key, yes. So I'm going to make sure that I have this key somewhere, right? Let me see the keys that are on my desktop. I have 40 key here. I have FabianEbong Bastion host key here, and I have FabianEbong key here. So we're going to use the FabianEbong key. Okay, FabianEbong key here. So I acknowledge that and I launch this instance. While it is launching, I'm going to go create my private instance, all right? So I come here, select T2 micro again, next. So I'm gonna be very careful here that I'm creating a private instance. So this is the VPC and this is the private instance, right? It already says it private in the private subnet. I'm not going to assign auto IP so that my private instance does not have a public IP, right? Then I'm also going to assign my role here as directed in the assignment. Then you say next. I'm okay with the storage. Give it a tag. So it's gonna be name, and I'm just gonna call this a private web instance. So I'm going to select that security group. Let me just select this for now, but I will go back and change that security group a little bit. So let me see. So let me just create a security group here and call it I can even create it here, right? So I can say create a new security group and just say I want this to only be SSH. On the SSH. So we know the importance of a private security group. But right now, because the assignment does not really require all that, let me not bring in confusion here. I'm just going to go with one security group, right? The one that I had. But the thing is that this private instance does not have an internet gateway attached to it. It doesn't have a public IP address attached to it. So it's not going to go to the internet anyway. It remains private. Now I'm going to launch it with the same key here. Acknowledge that key and launch. All right. So let's go see how far we are going with the assignment. We have created a public instance here, right? But does it have a public DNS and a public IP? Let's check. This is the public instance right here coming up. As you can see, it's running. It only comes up with a public IP address. It doesn't have a public DNS, right? But it has our role here, and it's a T2 micro. So let's go give it a public DNS. To do that, we need to go back to our VPC. All right, we go back, we cancel this. So we go back here to VPC, all right? We select this VPC that we created, and we come here and we say, enable DNS host names or host resolutions, all right? Then if we go back now and check, it's still not there, but if we give it a refresh, if we refresh it, it's going to come up. You see it here. So now this is our public DNS. This is our public IP address for our public instance. Let's check our private instance if it's done initializing. As you can see, it's coming up only with the private DNS and the private IP address. It doesn't have anything public DNS or public IP address. It has the right row attached to it and all that. So let's test the public to see. Right now, if you copy this IP address and you paste on the screen, it's not going to resolve, right? It's not going to resolve because we have not installed HTTP daemon and the service on it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to log into this instance. So I'm going to create that for people that are using PuTTY. I'm going to paste it here, right? I already did a video on this select SSH auth, and I'm going to upload the key. So I know I was using FabianEbong key. If you make sure you select the right key here. So I'm going to open. It's say login as who I say EC2-user. Okay. So it lets me in, right? So I'm going to do sudo, run the command, sudo yum update-y. So it's giving me some error message here. Loaded plugin extra and other, right? So let me quickly go back to my security groups here and see what is happening there. Okay, so we're going to go look at the NACLs and security group configurations and see. So here we are allowing what? SSH, right? Which is what we should do from this public IP. We are allowing port 80, yeah, from everywhere. Then we are allowing all TCP from everywhere, right? And using this ephemeral port. So our inbound NACL seems to be good, right? Outbound, yeah, we are allowing all traffic in the outbound, which is good. Let's look at security groups. If we come here, the security group, we are allowing HTTP from everywhere, fine. All TCP from this port to fine. Just the same configuration as in our NACLs, right? So everything looks good from here. Let's go back and try to connect to this instance. Grab that, put here. then SSH, upload the right key. Let's see. Yeah, this is the right key, right, that we are using. Let's check. So we have FabianEbong key here, FabianEbong key here. All right. So let's log in EC2-user, right? Okay, it lets us in. Let's do that again. Sudo yum update, yeah, -y. Oh, okay. It's saying that no packages marked for update. Ah, all right, good. So now we're going to install our HTTPD, right? So it's a sudo yum install HTTPD. Just say -y. So it's installing as it should. Then the next thing that we're going to do is sudo system ctl start httpd. So it runs successfully. Let's status it by doing sudo systemctl. Check the status of the HTTPD. We want to see it say running. Yep, so it's active and it's running, right? So you remember at first we copied this and we put on the browser and it did not resolve. So let's check. This time go. Now we are able to get to this default home page, right? So far, so good. Okay, I believe we have come to the end of this assignment, and these are the commands that I earlier sent to you, which I was running. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Continue practicing. Take care. All right. Bye-bye. Happy AWS journey. I'm going to stop recording.